there, Vault Dwellers. Follow us as we take a topic from the Fallout universe and discuss it in a group of diverse individuals. We are the Fallout Roundtable. Join us, the conversation has already started.
Welcome to another episode of the Fallout Roundtable. I am your host, your Lord and Savior, Maverick Stone. Yeah, it's another beautiful day in the neighborhood until you see a nuke coming towards you. But that's beside the point. Let's get started. We got Jax's sassy lady with us tonight. You guys just say hello to the guests.
Hello to the guests.
Hello to the guests.
Hallelujah. So before we get started, how about you rate, review, and subscribe to our YouTube channel? You just search up the Fallout Roundtable for our new listeners. By the way, if you're new to the show, welcome. Where have you been? We've been waiting.
Just for you.
You can also find us on Twitter at Fallout RTB. Send us a tweet over there. Follow us. And we also got a Gmail account, falloutrtb@gmail.com. And, we stream these episodes live now on Twitch and Kick. Thursday nights, 8:30. We normally start recording. We don't normally start recording until a little after that. But you get to hear the wacky stuff that you may hear that's not in the Spotify episodes.
I usually started at 5, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
8 o'clock.
Jackson's usually here chilling. He's
He's usually just here chilling by himself while we're nosing.
Well, I'm usually here with Warpath. I mean, Warpath's usually pretty on.
Yeah, Warpath's usually here.
He sees me online and he actually shows up. It's pretty cool.
I'm sorry.
I'm usually racing home from work about that time.
Right.
So.
I'm usually in the shower.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah. But anyway, let's get to our topic at hand.
Okay.
Our topic tonight: who started the apocalypse? Who do we think started the apocalypse in Fallout? The possibilities are endless.
Are they really endless? I mean,
they're not really endless, but I wanted to say endless just for that dramatic effect.
Okay, because I was going to say, I think it was the Swahili.
I think it was Vault-Tec. I'm on board of the Vault-Tec train.
It was aliens.
Aliens.
Totally aliens.
Yeah.
I mean, we did see alien ship and Mothership Zeta DLC. We saw blasting nukes, whatever, from the ship.
Mm-hmm.
But let's discuss. Who wants to go? Who has a thought they want to bring out about the possibilities?
Well, I mean, I've always gone with the same principles. I thought it was the Chinese. I thought they
I feel like, to be honest, yes. I feel like, to be honest, that's what everyone thinks.
It's just an easy answer.
It is an easy answer, to be honest. It is. It really is.
They fired at us, so we fired back. That's what it. I mean,
it's the American way.
Well, then again, the Russians were pretty much done for by then, right?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
They didn't really have any kind of. Left.
They were really declining by then. So,
but they might have been able to still launch nukes. So I don't know.
Well, they had them.
No.
It's just like their economy and everything was kind of crap at that time.
Well, I mean, a loan to launch one.
Well, but it all depends because since it's an alternate reality, our reality, 80s, whatever they were, the economy wasn't really great. But it could have been different if it, in the alternate reality. We don't really know. Like apparently, it seems like. In the alternate reality, they never kind of bounced back. They always stayed in decline. They never went back to being a superpower or whatever. That was China's role. So
China took over that role from this. I think it was still the Soviet Union at that time.
Right. But we don't know, anything about them. Like, did anybody force them to give up their nukes or did they still have them? I mean, they could have set them off just for funsies because they're like, we're tired of being the little guy.
Soviet Socialist Republic at that point.
Yeah, they'd be the USSR.
would have been.
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah, they never. If I remember correctly from my lore reading for when I was researching projects that will probably never happen. Um, I was reading that they never switched over from the communist like they did here in our communism never collapsed in Russia. It was declining, but it never declined that dramatically. So it was still the USSR.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is what happens when I actually read articles and lore and stuff.
You read and you know things.
Yeah. Who knew?
That is the benefit of reading.
Yeah.
All right. That's wonderful.
So you think Russia?
Woo!
So what's that?
You think it was Russia?
No, I'm still with China.
No,
Oh,
not. He's taking the easy route here.
I
Well,
don't
it's
know if
the
it's
obvious
easy.
route,
I
right?
just think it's more
It
obvious.
is the obvious route, but I
I mean, I tend
honestly
to agree because of the fact that you had two superpowers at the time. You had the United States and you had China. Well, we didn't nuke
1, 2.
ourselves, probably.
Yeah, but I wonder,
Who
did we nuke?
knows?
Could have.
Did we get nuked in retaliation for them being nuked, or did we
Did we
retaliate?
start the nuking?
Yeah.
Well, that's a great question because we knew that the nukes were coming.
We
There's
knew.
data that we know, but then it could have been picked up on radar.
Yeah,
But
but
there's
were they
no
coming because we
data
launched
anywhere in
nukes?
any of the government facilities that we had launched prior to our knowledge of the incoming nukes. Like that's not leaked anywhere.
Hmm.
So
No.
I would say that likely it was retaliation. And if we go with Tim Kane's version, the original Fallout developer, this was originally his world. He says that, at least from what I understand, he says that China nuked the United States because we were screwing around with FEV because we were making super soldiers for our war against them. So I guess in order to keep us from doing that, which seems extreme,
This seems super
that they
extreme.
nuked us
I
because
agree.
it's extreme because did they expect us to not nuke back? Like, oh, we don't want your super soldiers coming over here and fighting us, but how about your nukes? This seems a little odd, you know, like they didn't think that one through.
I don't think they thought that one through either, but it goes along with the Bethesda being super ambiguous type of lore that Fallout has.
Well, this was pre Bethesda. This was way back in the original Fallout that he's talking about that's what his intentions were, how he saw it. And he created Fallout, not Fallout 1, but technically Fallout 1, like the first original Fallout.
The top down,
Yeah.
which isn't a bad game. It was, from what I've seen, it was still a pretty good game for its time.
Yeah. Considering that was back in the 90s. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, back to nukes. I'm not going to go the obvious route. I'm going to say Vault-Tec.
I like that theory.
I when I first read this theory a long time ago, I was like, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It makes a ton of sense
Mm-hmm.
because Vault-Tec wanted to start their experiments, but no one was nuking each other, so they couldn't put these people down in the vaults that were completed. So they did it themselves. They're like, let's speed up the process a little bit. Oh,
The
yeah.
only thing that gets me about that is they weren't finished. So they were supposed to have like 1,000 vaults, and they only had what, a couple hundred maybe
I think it
done.
was like 300.
And they were in the like there are some like was it Vault 88 that they were in the middle of doing that we find that isn't.
I mean, we make one vault in 4 in a
Yeah, that's
DLC.
88.
There's one that was almost completed that was also in 4 that
I
was
think
in the
that's
subway.
80. I think it's 80 that like you crawl through the wall and find the rest of the space. Am I
No,
right?
what's the DLC one then? Is that 88? I thought that one was 80.
No, 88's is that the deal? I don't think it's in a DLC, is it? Maybe. It's where you go in the like cave and you can build everything from scratch.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah. And you bust open the like the walkways and stuff, and there's like death claws in there and stuff.
No, what's the one where you go down in Nick Valentine to do something?
Well, 80 is the one where you go through like the hole in the wall to find the guy that the brother of the sister or whatever. I don't know. And then you like go through this hole in the wall and then you find this like whole other room that was like walled off and you didn't even know it was there. And I think that's where you find Marie. Is that Vault 80? Where you find Marie because you find all the doctors that were living in there.
Okay,
It's like a whole
so
other part of the vault that they didn't know about because it was walled off.
to go back to how many vaults that we know of, 118.
Vault 112 was the last one built.
There
But they were
are
numbered weirdly.
Yeah, they were numbered weirdly, but according to Fallout fandom, the Fallout wiki that I have pulled up here,
Yeah.
it goes from hold on,
The
hold on.
information varies on that though, because they also
Yeah, it
say somebody
does.
from Vault Tech was one of the ones who started the first nuclear
Yeah,
explosion. So if you're going off of,
it's
if you're going from this guy Tim or Tim Kane, right?
I'm just
Tom
saying
Kane, Tim
how
Kane,
many vaults are out there. So
right?
I
But
can't remember.
like I said, the
Well,
information could be skewed though.
yeah,
No,
because they've been adding some. I mean, I think like they came up with like, oh, there was like 200 done when this happened, although there was supposed to be 1,000 that they had planned all over. I don't know if it was all over the world or just all over the country,
huh,
but they only had time before the war actually happened to get a couple hundred done. And then,
it was
but
120.
not everything. Yeah, it's like, okay, 120. That makes sense. 120 volts. And then,
Yeah.
but not everything was like we didn't know, like we knew a lot of different numbers and what they were for, but there are some numbers that we didn't know.
So Epic Nate is
But they're
actually got a
picking
video
those up.
out that says that he knows that
He's got
Vault
good
Tech
stuff out.
started it. So and
He
it's
knows that
funny
Voltec
because him and
started it.
TKS Mantis were sitting at the same table at the event.
Oh, he was at the event. Oh, that's
Yeah, he
right.
was
He
at the
was.
event too. Yeah, him and
He's made
TKS.
some good videos and some of his stuff.
Wait, who?
You're
Uh,
like, I
the
don't
Epic
know. But
Nate.
then you listen to
Oh
what
yeah,
they say,
yeah. Okay,
and
yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, nope, that makes total sense.
Yeah, he was there at the event as well. And yeah, according to him, he put there. We now know that Vault Tech was the one who started it.
Vault-Tec did it.
No, I didn't
But it
watch his
doesn't make
video,
sense,
but
why they did that before they finished, unless somebody got greedy or whatever. It's like, why did they do that before had a chance to finish? And then where did they all go? That's what I want to know. Where did they all go?
where
Or
would
who
all
all
go?
went? I'm sorry.
Vault Tech. Where did they
Oh,
go?
Well,
according to the wiki, Vault Zero, Cheyenne Mountain.
Well, that makes sense, but how come nobody has found them since? It's been, we're looking at 200 plus
Experiment
years,
gone wrong. It's the Vault-Tec way.
but they wouldn't experiment on their vaults
You
with them
wouldn't
in it.
know. You
Why
you
would
don't
they?
know that.
They they know they're experimenting on vaults. They're experimenting on people. They're doing experiments because, and this is something that Tim Kaine said, those vaults were all set up for the one purpose of going to space. They
Yep.
were all set up to prepare everyone and see how everyone would do in an environment to go to space, to leave Earth.
Yep.
He did say that.
I
I
do
did hear that.
remember this.
So why wouldn't they be the control group who can monitor how everything else is doing? You wouldn't experiment on yourself. Scientists don't do that. They got plenty
You
of other people
you
to experiment on.
well, not usually.
Not usually,
not
but they
usually,
had
but
plenty
this
of
is
people,
Vault-Tec we're
except
talking
for the
about here.
fact that they had done so many drills that a lot of people didn't fill up the vaults because they thought it was a false alarm. It's just another drill. So people didn't. So like they did say the vaults weren't filled to capacity when the alarms went off because people failed to show up because they didn't believe it was real,
Or
Yep.
they just didn't make it.
or they didn't make it. I mean, they didn't have a lot of time, did they? Did
Not
you
in
see
most
the
cases.
Fallout 4?
No,
Well, and then in
nah.
Fallout 4, it's like, well, if they didn't all show up, why didn't you just take the walk-ins? You know,
That is
so
true,
leaving them
but
out there to
at
die.
the same time,
That might affect the
integrity.
the
Probably.
variables of the experiment.
I'm
Yeah.
sure it did because they were probably all pre-screened.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess better to reduce your
Cool.
experiment number, population, whatever, than
I wonder
to
what would
add
happen
in
if we tied.
unknowns.
I wonder what would happen if we dialed like 1-800 4 Vault Tech.
Do it.
Because there's a
Do
Vault Tech
it.
phone number. It's 1-888-482-858-832.
I want to say somebody said that you used to call it and you got like Baltech, blah blah blah. You know, I feel like
Got a voicemail of
it's
Vault
answered.
Tech.
It's actually too many numbers.
Is it?
Yeah, so it's 1-800. Wait, no, hold on. 482
BAU
3. Actually, no, it's missing a number.
LTEC.
It's missing a number.
What number?
I don't know.
That's
Because the
probably
1-800
I think it works. You said it's 888?
888.
1-888-482 858-832.
That's too many numbers.
That is too many numbers.
It's too many numbers.
Yeah, there's
But if
two.
you spell out Vault Tech, that works. Like if you do 888 Vault Tech, it works.
Instead of 4 Vault Tech.
Yeah, don't do 4 Vault Tech, but if you just do Vault Tech, it works. Unless you put 2 T's in. There's not 2 T's in Vault
T's.
Tech, is there?
There's
No.
9 numbers in that. Yeah.
How did we go down this rabbit hole of figuring out a phone number for Vault Tech?
He found
just thought
one.
It would be fun.
Well, technically there is 2 T's in Vault Tech, but they put a dash in there too. So if you don't
Yeah,
do 2 T's,
dash.
it works.
May,
If you take out the 4 and you don't do 2 T's, it works.
it works.
Sit there calling Vault Tech. Anyway, so
I
well,
seriously want to know.
we know what my choice was. My choice was China. What's your choice?
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, I hate to like copy on what you guys said because honestly, I think it was China or Vault-Tec. But just for fun, let's talk about aliens. Who thinks aliens? Because after we did
maybe aliens are the ones that got China and Vault-Tec to fire theirs off.
But I mean, after we
mind
did
rays.
DLC in Fallout 4 or Fallout 3? Fallout
3.
Yeah, Fallout 3. After we do the Mothership Zeta and we see like all the crap that they've been doing after so many years, you gotta wonder.
I think it was all a plot by Modus.
I mean, who wouldn't?
Modus was at full capacity at that point.
But yeah, he wasn't. Well, though he didn't. They didn't shut him down until after.
Yeah, until after. So yeah, he was still at full capacity.
Yeah, they shut him down after because that was all before Eaton.
Eaton what? No.
that was before John Henry Eaton or not Eaton, President Chucklefuck.
Yeah, Mr. Chucklefox.
Before he came in and like killed.
I remember that part of the episode, and I laughed hysterically when they
always call him that. It's like multiple episodes, but before
when I first heard it,
and killed half of Congress, or half the people that made it.
Yeah, Mr. Chucklefox wanted to raise the zinc.
The other one.
Oh,
well, the Enclave for sure, but I can't remember which actual guy it was. Oh, what is his name? Why can't I think of it? The one that was Secretary of Agriculture and then became president because they locked everybody else. Well, they didn't invite them or turned off their
No, they killed them.
Notifications. Well, no, they didn't even notify half the people that were supposed to be there that things were happening. So they didn't get the notification, come to the bunker. And then the people that did show up, well, then they killed half of them because they were like, "You're with us or you're against us."
You
So
did.
that way, if they didn't tell like the speaker and everybody else who was in succession before this guy to not show up, then he was, head man, even though he was what 50th in line or something. I don't know.
Mr.
Right?
Eckhart, Mr. former
Eckhart.
president, dead Thomas Eckhart.
Yeah. But he was like
Yeah.
way down the line of succession. And so
Yep,
they just
he
made sure everybody
was
in front of him was dead
he
or
was
didn't.
Secretary of Agriculture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
So you were right.
But they just made sure that
That was
anybody
after President Dick Richardson was gone, right?
yeah.
No, Dick. I think Dick was on
He was on the
oil platform.
oil rig. But they lost
Breadwin?
communication with the
No,
oil rig.
not
He assumed
the oil rig,
Oh,
not the
The-
pretty one.
the thing with the big face.
Yeah, the thing with the big face. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I don't. But I haven't seen pictures. But I think that card. Thank you for that. 'Cause I couldn't think of it. So I think Richardson was in office.
Yes, President
They
Dick
had
Richardson
because
was
they
in
all
office.
went because like you knew they knew something was happening because they all went to the oil rig early.
Yeah, they all left because they're like, "Uh-oh, something's coming,"
Like they
but we're
knew
not going to
something was
tell.
brewing, even though like it wasn't when it happened. Like everything else happened like when it happened, but they were out there early. But I
Mm-hmm.
think because Eckhart thought, well, we've lost communication, so I can assume the presidency because we'll just assume he's dead, even though I don't think he was.
No, not at that point.
But he assumed the presidency because nobody could get a hold of him anyway. So he's just like,
Screw me,
It's
let's
mine
move on.
now. It's
yeah,
mine.
he's not here to contest it. So, hey, must be me.
Yep, it's mine now.
So I don't know if it was Modus or not because unless they got Modus in on their plan to take over, the shadow government, the enclave, to take over the regular government. But wasn't the president in on that? Wasn't he part of the enclave?
Well, the thing is that Modus is like really high advanced AI, and his motives necessarily, even though they were written a certain way in an algorithm, he has the ability to manipulate almost anything. So I just think he kind of went rogue. I think he
Maybe
should do that.
he did, but why didn't
you
he
say
go-
turning him into like the Terminator, Skynet?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
then why didn't he continue to do things his way afterwards?
Well, I feel like it had to do with when stuff got exploded in the vault when part of his memory was destroyed.
Well, but he was doing things Eckhart wanted before that.
Because he was the president technically.
Well, so was the other guy. But if he started the war,
Well, in Modus, I
He
don't
could have
think
had
Modus
something
knew.
written into his programming to keep him from being able to act on it until after the president was dead.
Yeah,
maybe.
who knows?
But
Speculation.
the president died supposedly in the war. And so I don't think Modus could have started it. Well, he didn't die. That's what I'm saying. He didn't die, but they said he did because they didn't have contact with him, but we know that he wasn't dead. We know he was on the oil rig.
Yeah, he was
Right?
on the oil rig until the oil rig was destroyed by the Vault Dweller. I think his name was the Vault Dweller in Fallout, in the original Fallout.
Yeah, whatever they called the first one. I don't remember if he was like the savior or the whatever. I don't know.
I think the second one was the Savior.
What was on his face? Is this supposed
What?
to be sunglasses? All right. So Modus was used by Eckhart to take over. Well, yeah, I know that. But
We all
Modus
know
had to have
this.
been there before Eckhart, right? Or did Eckhart install Modus? Does anybody know that?
No. I think Modus was already in the bunker.
That's what I thought. But somebody who built this bunker? I mean, I know it's been around forever. However long.
Probably Vault Tech. Let's be honest. Everything Vault related, I'm just going to say Vault Tech at this point.
Except that technically this bunker in our reality was around before that.
Oh, you're talking about the
White
what?
Springs bunker.
the in our reality or the Fallout reality?
Both, because they should coincide at that point.
Well, yeah, but we don't know.
Because that bunker's
We
been around for a while.
the bunker has been around for a while in our world
Well,
and there.
And even though the way they
hmm.
built it in the game, it looks like it was built by Vault-Tec. I don't think it was.
It look that vault in the game looks like it's been built like Vault-Tec. I agree, but because it has all the standard stuff of a Vault-Tec vault, but it looks a little bit different because it's not a normal vault. If you get what I'm saying,
Right. It's a bunker.
it's a bunker. It's a command center. It's not like a civilian vault where it just looks homey and dreary and no sun.
Hmm.
It looks homey and dreary. Is that what you're
Homey and
There,
dreary.
there, it could places could be homey but dreary. Like if it rains a lot or like just put like a new coat of paint on something. Like the old paint was like all bad or whatever.
Probably all lead based too.
Yeah,
So it's Project Greek Island.
that's a weird name, but okay.
And it looks like they put it in sometime. Construction began in 1957.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, our vault, not Vault-Tec vault.
The Greenbrier bunker, which is the White Springs bunker.
Yeah, the Greenbrier.
Because I haven't seen anything that shows that history is that different. I mean, they kept the whole, yes, it was there for Congress, you know, as a place because it was close to DC. It was in the mountains, so it was, you know,
It
it was
was sort of
within
is
war.
sort of the
We still
Appalach.
had the Cold War, we still had that. We knew everybody had nukes and we had to worry about people nuking us.
Yeah,
Well, China in this case, Russia in our timeline.
yeah.
Dude,
What?
Jaxus and his Homer Simpson
What?
boogie
Oh, I thought
dance.
you were talking about me because I'm like,
Mm-mm.
mm.
I don't know, but I think we should go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll be right back after this message. Hi, welcome to Three Count Thoughts. Let me introduce the crew real quick.
Hi, I'm Maverick Stone.
I'm Romer.
And I'm Jaxus. Join us as we talk all things wrestling. Each week, we'll take a topic from the wrestling world, knock it around a bit, and then go over the week in wrestling from a strictly fan perspective. We can be found on all major podcast catchers. We can also be found at 3 Count Thoughts on both YouTube and Twitter. Or you can send us an email using 3countthoughts@gmail.com. Okay, are you ready? Ring the bell. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed our little moment of commercial break. Now we're going to get back into our speculatory conversation about who dropped the bombs.
I feel like we talked about this already, but I feel like this conversation's better than the last one, though. Just thinking about it, I'm just saying.
Sorry, I was just like purposely taking a pause moment there to see if anybody would like pick up on things, carry the ball.
I was just thinking, like, what if
Okay,
Vault-Tec
let's
did?
think outside the box here. From our usual suspects.
Okay. Mexico.
Mexico.
Because they're already the United States at this point.
Let's talk about Canada.
Because they're already the United States.
They're already the United States. They didn't want to be
But
the United States.
They might have done it in retaliation.
Retaliation.
The Hacker Crew Anonymous.
Yes, the Canadian hackers. The Mexicans and the Canadians don't like us.
Now, would they have had anything to hack? They didn't have transistors, so they didn't have a personal computer system to be able to hack.
No, everything was huge still.
Yeah, so that kind of blew that up.
I mean, they could do like an underground computer lab and hack from that humongous thing. Nobody would have known.
Just like the whole back wall is the computer.
Right. Because I mean,
it
the
can be
north
done.
of northern Canada, northern Canada, yeah, all up there. There's like nobody that goes up there because it's very
The
cold.
Institute infiltrated into China and set off their nukes.
That just got out of the box a little bit.
Maybe because
Let's
they
talk about
probably
that.
just sent synths that look like little Chinamen, and they didn't
And-
even know they were
yeah.
there.
Little Chinaman.
They
Well, if you think
replaced.
about their whole
That
concept,
makes a lot of
if
sense.
they're trying to replace
That
all the
does make a
humans
lot
with
of sense.
synthetics, then eliminating the humans from the Earth would be kind of part of their goal, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. Well, it would be easier to repopulate with synths if you had fewer humans.
That's what I say, man.
Yeah. It'd be a lot easier.
Maybe it's England because they're pissed off that they got ignored.
I guess we'll find out in April, huh? When
That's
Fallout
right.
London drops.
The mod. Fallout
Yeah, the mod
London
that's
drops
bigger
in.
than the whole game.
Yeah, it's
Right?
so much bigger than the game.
That's gonna be fun though. I can't wait.
I can't wait either.
I'm so glad I'm a PC player.
I am too now. At least for
You're
Fallout
glad,
4.
or you just are.
I'm glad. I like my console. I like my Xbox, but if I have to play on PC to play this mod, I will do it. Doesn't mean I have to be happy about it.
I keep falling.
You'll be
down.
happy because you can play the mod.
Yeah.
I'm getting shorter. No.
Oh no.
He's melting.
Oh no. But anyway, let's get back to our
if
discussion.
So what about the rest of Europe? I mean, they basically collapsed into nothing because they were all fighting and holy cow. They were all
Bro.
fighting and going to war before all
Yeah,
this,
because
right?
of resources and stuff. The EU
the
just
resource war.
collapsed.
There we go.
So
That
they
one looks kind of
probably-
ghoulish, right?
But the thing is, the deal is that still gets me is that these people still probably have nukes, right?
I'm
Like,
guessing
we were
because
talking
they
about
haven't
Russia
done it
in the
because everyone
USSR.
was still
Like,
scared to use them, except when we started to.
Unless-
Everyone else did then.
So what about Australia?
Unless in this alternate timeline, because the timeline splits after World War II, right?
It splits
You're
right after we dropped
Breaking me out,
Hiroshima.
Jack. That's gotta go. So, what if these places never got nukes because they were too poor? Like they talked about how USSR was like, they were going downhill and they were poor.
Yeah, they were poor, but they were still the USSR up to
But maybe they
2077.
never got into the maybe they never got nukes. Maybe they never got into the atomic race. Maybe the resource wars were so setting a toll, whatever, on Europe that they never got nukes. So what if nobody ever had nukes except like the US and China?
No, I think at
superpowers.
least the USSR would. Maybe one or two.
Or would
but
it just be where we park stuff in other countries that are allies,
like
right?
armies.
Well, I mean, probably other things. We park things. Who's to say that maybe China didn't park? Would you stop? Didn't park some nukes in Russia, because it was closer to us, maybe because Russia's what? How many miles from Alaska?
Google.
Super close.
Google.
Super close. They're very close.
Say
Very
again.
close. Super close.
Super close.
Just straight of whatever that is up there.
Gibraltar.
Is it Gibraltar? Is
No,
it?
I don't think it is.
That's no. I don't think
What countries are we talking about here? I'm sorry.
Russia and Alaska, which is not a country.
It's the Bering Sea.
But what's this? What's that strip of land that basically connects them when there's no water?
It's a
Like you
land
can
bridge.
walk
That's
across
literally what it's called.
I thought it had a name.
It's like the land bridge.
Just the land bridge.
I think that's what it's called. It's all I've ever known it's been called.
Thought
There's an island there's an island between Russia and Alaska that's split down the middle from the United States side and the Russian side. That there is soldiers stationed on each side.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah,
really
because it's
impressed at
illegal
how
to
well you
cross.
knew that
It's illegal to
geographic
cross
stuff.
that. I knew that.
Because I just saw it on Shorts the other day, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. And then I had to look it up just to make sure.
The Bering Strait. I knew it
Yeah,
had
the
a
Bering
name.
Strait.
You said Gibraltar, and I was like, that's not right.
I backtracked on my Gibraltar
The
comment.
Bering, I know you did, but we didn't come up with it. You said it's just called the land bridge. So it is the Bering Strait. And I want to
I
say
said the
it's
Bering Sea.
53 miles. 53 miles. I knew it was close.
I
They're
said the Bering
53 miles
Sea.
apart. You did.
Yeah.
So they're 53 miles apart.
Give me at least 75% of the credit, please.
Well, 2.4 miles in 21 hours is what they're separated by. The closest geographic point between the borders of the United States and Russia lies. I just lost my place. Darn it. Whatever. I lost my place. Don't care. Oh, you're talking about the Diomede Islands.
Yeah, that island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I couldn't remember the exact name, but yeah, those
Yeah.
islands.
Let's see. The two islands are known as Little Diomede and Big Diomede are separated by the international date line, which is also an international boundary. Little Diomede belonged to the United States and Big Diomede belongs to Russia.
Yep, that
A
sounds
mere
about right.
2.4 miles separates the two islands.
There's military on both islands because that's how friendly we are to each other.
Yeah, we don't trust each other at all.
No, we never do. But I don't like politics on my
The
shows.
closest country to the United States without sharing a border.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's separated by 21 hours by standard time.
Yeah, because it's
So they call Big Diomedes Tomorrow Island because it's 21 hours ahead of Yesterday Island, which is Little Diomedes during standard time.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It is wild if you
funny.
think about it. If you think about it, it is.
Time is
And
funny.
then we got fighter bases all up and down the islands in Alaska.
This is tiny. I don't know how we could. Wow.
It's like an outpost. It's not that big.
Yeah, no, it says about 115 Inupiat people live on the western shore. Some native people, I guess. No permanent residents on Big Diomedes, but the island houses a Russian weather station.
Oh, that's what they call the military
It's
radar
like
station.
those Chinese weather balloons that we had.
The weather balloons.
Weather balloons.
Oh,
Anyway, so those,
here's something.
I'm sure that there's probably
There's gotta
nukes
be
there, but they may not necessarily be Russian nukes in the alternate timeline. They could be China.
They could be Chinese.
China might have,
Let's
put
go
them
out of the
there
box.
to protect their interests.
It'd be another Cuba incident, but
Correct.
I have another out of the box thinking.
What, Cuba?
No, not Cuba. North Korea.
Ooh. Now, wouldn't they just be like with China at this point? Because didn't China
Well,
just
yeah,
take
that's what
over
I'm
all of
saying.
the South Asian
Yeah,
stuff?
it took over north, south.
Yeah, they just took over all the little Asian countries that are down there.
I think Japan's still there.
Yeah, what was the deal with Japan
Yeah,
in the
what
alternate
is
timeline?
the
Why
deal
are
with
they not a
Japan?
bigger player? Why are they not a bigger player?
I-
What happened to them in the
Well, I don't
war?
think
Like,
they because you remember we dropped 2 nukes on them,
oh,
and
that's
then
right. They probably never recovered
I don't think they ever recovered, but they're still
in
a
the alternate
country.
timeline.
They're still a country in the Fallout universe. They're just decimated.
But that's yeah, but that's the thing is in the alternate timeline, they may have never recovered from that.
Oh yeah, no, I totally agree with you. They
Yeah.
probably never did.
Especially with the resource wars
2077
right there.
of 1940s, 40.
Long time.
That is a long time. Maybe they did.
It's over 100 years.
And then the resource war happened.
Resource wars, yeah. I mean, maybe it was just like a lot of
They might have just got swollen up during the resource wars.
yeah.
It probably, but think that there's still a separate independent country
And
outside
why don't we hear
Japan, though.
anything about Australia in the alternate timeline?
That is a good point.
Are they
We
just
don't.
down there
That would
doing
be
their own thing?
Warpath's theory there.
Right. But I mean, why don't we hear anything about them? Are they just like, we're done with the rest of the world? We're just like here
We're
and
done.
we
We're
don't talk to
done.
any of y'all, which I don't
Screw
blame
you
them for that,
all.
considering, that they were started as a prison colony and everybody was just like, we're just going to leave you here on this island by yourselves.
The
Bye.
funny thing is, one of my ancestors was a British prisoner.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty nifty.
I think it was on my mom's side.
Kind of cool.
I could be wrong, but I believe that's what mom told me.
Could have been Zeus, just went.
It could have been Zeus.
It could have been Zeus.
Just threw that on a lightning bolt.
But it's like
Dropping
we know that
bolts.
Europe is a like dead. Like there's nothing going on
Yeah,
with
the
Europe
EU
and basically
collapsed
Russia
and
as well. And probably Japan, I guess, as far as countries that are
still
not
there.
doing well in the alternate timeline.
They're still there.
They're there, but they're not doing well. They're not major powers. They're not big players on the scene.
No,
There's
I believe they're not major players like they are.
I mean, we only have the two major powers according to what we understand the lore to be, and that's China and the US, which the US has taken over because of the resource wars, taken over Canada. We've taken over our entire continent,
Yeah, because of the
just
resource
because we're
war,
greedy.
because Canadians didn't share the
They
pipe.
were in the way. We couldn't get to Alaska very easily because we had to
Just
go through them.
forget
So we just
Gingerino.
booked them.
Just forget Gingerino is from
Well, he wasn't
Canada.
around yet.
Oh, Canada.
The little America that they are.
Little America.
That's got to piss him off.
The hat and the boots. No, we just took him over.
Gingerino, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry.
So then there's Africa, which I guess
Africa.
is probably
I
because
feel like though, if I remember, that was part of the European
Africa?
resource war.
Africa.
Well, they're fighting over it
Well, probably. Yeah, but
because British still had their everyone still had their colonies in Africa.
in the 50s?
I know Britain does.
Hmm.
The
I thought they
UK's
had that war well before World War One.
No.
The war in Africa. I thought that was before all that.
No, there was in World War II, there was a conquest. The Nazis conquested a lot of the British colonies in Africa. We came in and crushed the Nazis when they were starting to crumble back in the 80 whatever I forget the exact years.
Yeah, it says history of the British Empire, 1815 to 1914.
That's 1914.
That's World War One, like right before.
Yeah, but the British still had colonies. They still controlled India at this point. They still controlled a lot of the
India's not in
islands.
Africa.
Oh, I know that. I'm digging myself a bigger hole. Let me dig my excavator.
And then there was silence. This is great for podcasting, guys.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that was all done before World War One in Africa. They'd already had all their stuff had gone on. So like the African War. The war in Africa is what it was called. See, but the cool thing about this is I learn things because, we just bring stuff up and I'm like, oh, let me look that up because I don't know. Oh, that was real early. That was like turn of the century. Yep.
Great. Now I gotta look it up because I'm like,
The British eventually prevailed, but not without adopting controversial tactics.
yeah,
And then the Second War.
I know that that the Nazis conquested over, or maybe it was French. I think it was the French that still had colonies. I know the British and the French still had colonies in Africa around World War II. Because I remember that the British, when Nazi Germany took over France, they basically had control of their navy. British came in, was like, give up your ships, and the French were like, nah, and they were in African port, one of their French bases or whatever, and the British fired upon them because they said nah, to make sure that the ships didn't get into Nazi hands. Did you not know this? I
About
took
the
a
French?
college I took a college class on World War II. I can keep going.
Oh, I'll put you up against my son any day. You'll lose.
Bring
The
it
kid
on.
breathes war history.
Bring it on.
French West Africa was a federation of 8 French colonial territories in Africa. So they only had 8 territories. Until
I know the
1958.
British still had colonies
So
in.
the French were there until 1958. Well, no, it's just, French administrative grouping under French rule until 1958. That's the French.
Fine, I got the country wrong, okay?
That's okay. Down with France. Former colonies in Africa demand a reset. I mean, I feel like everybody was colonizing, third world countries because they could, because they just wanted
Who's going to
what
stop
they
them?
could get out of it.
Who's
Well,
gonna
right. Who was to
stop
stop them?
them?
Because it was just a bunch of tribal people who were like, hey, we've never seen you people before.
Guys, if you also think about it, during the Second World War, Britain, Australia was still a colony of Britain.
Well, weren't they still the prison colony?
I think, yeah. After the fall of France, in June of 1940, the British Empire stood alone until the German invasion of Greece in 1941, in April of 1941.
In 1941, the war had
Well,
just begun.
actually,
The Germans had the biggest ships that had the biggest guns. Sorry.
1868.
The admiral of
looks
the
like
British fleets had turned those bows around.
Convicts and
When the smoke had
colonization of
cleared away, the
Australia.
mighty hood went down. Bada boom, bada boom.
You got to think about it. This is a different timeline than
It's an alternate universe. All this could be complete bullshit.
absolutely.
Well, but
Everything could be complete.
But they don't say that what happened prior to the war differed.
No, they
Because
So
from what I've read, everything was still the same. World War One still happened the same
Yes.
way.
Well, World War II still happened.
The same way.
And
The
then
only thing
it was
that
after
changed,
that.
only thing that really changed was that they focused more on nuclear energy and we focused on getting things smaller.
Right. Well, they utilized, we were all scared of nuclear energy because what we saw that happened in
Yeah, because
Japan,
we were
they also never invented the transistor.
right.
That is true.
And then they were trying to harness nuclear energy and use it because they were in the resource wars, which we haven't had yet.
Which, completely.
We'll have it eventually.
Physics,
It's gonna happen.
the fact that they have
It's going to
what they're
happen
calling a
eventually.
Pip-Boy, which, how do you have a Pip-Boy without a transistor? Just saying.
It's true.
Wasn't that the vacuum tube? Wasn't that what they were doing?
Yeah.
Vacuum tubes.
Vacuum tubes.
That means a Pip-Boy would have to be like the size of I don't know.
Yeah, it had to be like
But
up
that's
to your
why
elbow
it was
at this
not
point.
this size. It was this size,
It'd probably be the size of your elbow.
Well, it was half the size of your forearm instead of the size of a watch.
Yeah, it was like that.
So, I mean, that's
Gosh, I
that's
can't do
my
it.
guess.
That big.
Anyway. All right, you guys got anything else?
Not really.
All right, guys, I think that's going to kind of do it for us tonight. If you guys actually have any ideas on, who besides China dropped bombs, because that's probably
aliens.
just China or
Voltec.
Or Voltec. If
Voltec.
you guys have any
Big
ideas,
three.
go ahead and leave it at followrtv@gmail.com, or you can send us a little Twitter, or you can X us. Is that what they call it now? Xing us at Fallout RTV.
Excess.
Yeah.
So weird.
Anyway, it's going to do it for us tonight. Everybody say goodnight.
Good morning.
This podcast is part of the Robots Radio Rocket Club, a program designed to help all podcasts reach their full potential. For information about joining the Robots Radio Rocket Club, check out robotsradio.net.